Last week, I went to the bank. The teller was such a friendly guy. He looked vaguely Middle Eastern, had an accent I couldn't quite place. And he was so chatty. He was asking me about summer plans, we were talking about the weather, and then he's typing away, looking up my account, and he says, "What do you do for work?" I froze. I was thinking, is it safe? Should I tell him what I do? What if he hates me? What if he hates Israel? What if he sabotages my bank account? And then I thought, Aliza, you are insane. There are literally thousands of Israelis fighting for their lives, fighting to save Eretz Yisrael, and you're afraid to tell a bank teller in Massachusetts what you do? So I smiled, tried to put on a warm smile, and said, "I'm a rabbi." He said, Click, 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 click. I'm thinking, oh no, I've ruined it. Nobody would have known if I lied. I could have said anything. Click, click, click. Then he looks up at me, says, "Wait, that's a steak." I burst out laughing. I couldn't hold it. I was like, no, that's a ribeye. I'm a rabbi. He said, "Write it down." He handed me a piece of paper. So I did, handed it back. Click, 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 click. Oh, a spiritual leader for the Jewish people. Thinking, what a crazy world we're living in. I'm really worried about telling a bank teller what I do, that I'm a Jew. And yet, we're surrounded by so many stories every week of when benign encounters turn tragic. Last week, the firebombing in Boulder hit me particularly hard. You must know that Boulder is the epicenter of hippie life in Colorado. It is a crunchy granola college town at the base of the Rocky Mountains. It's so progressive that you have to work hard to find dairy ice cream. You can easily get soy cream, rice cream, oat cream, hemp cream, cashew cream, avocado ice cream. But if you want ice cream made from cow's milk, you practically have to go to a specialty store. That or milk your own cow. I grew up going to shul in Boulder, and after religious school, we would go and eat dinner on the grass right there where the attack happened, across from the courthouse. It always felt like the safest place. How is it that in 2025, Jews are torched in a hippie college town in broad daylight? How is it that in 2025, an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor wakes up and decides to go for the first time with their friends in support of the hostages and ends up in the ER covered in severe burns? How is it that 50 and 60 and 70 and 80-year-old members of our Jewish community were targeted simply for the crime of being visibly Jewish in the world? And of course, none of us can forget that this happened less than 2 weeks after Yaron and Sarah were murdered brutally in DC. Two bright young people who had dedicated their lives to working on behalf of the state of Israel, to building a happy home. They were about to be engaged. They were working for peace. They were working for all the right things, and instead they were snuffed out by hate in the dark of night. And that only weeks after the arson at Governor Shapiro's residence on Passover. Each one of these attacks awakens a generational trauma within us, a fear, an anxiety, a grief. What do we do in the face of all this? Should we change it all up? Should we put away our hamsas, take off our mezuzahs, stay away from Jewish spaces and try to fade into the relative safety of assimilation? Or should we go out there? Should we double down? Should we be out there in force, wearing Israeli flags, daring the haters to hate, showing them that no matter what they do, we will not be deterred. We are proud Jews. Barry Weiss, in her book, How to Fight Antisemitism, points out that Theodor Herzl was a wealthy, secular, Austro-Hungarian lawyer and journalist. He was not ostentatiously Jewish. He tried to pass, hoping that that would grant him a degree of safety. But his life was so plagued by antisemitism, not to mention the pogroms and attacks which were ubiquitous at the time, that he came to realize there was no future for the Jewish people in diaspora. And he didn't just sigh and give up hope. He doubled down and began working for a brighter Jewish future. He wrote Der Judenstaat, the Jewish state, outlining his idea that the road to a bright Jewish future would involve creating a Jewish homeland where Jews could live safely and securely, that would not only be a haven for Jews, but would also be a beacon unto the nations. And he didn't stop there. He single-handedly brought 200 Jewish delegates from all over the world for the first Zionist Congress in Basel, Switzerland. Now you have to remember, these 200 Jews from all over the world were tired. They were weary from fighting anti-Semitism. They were probably people that just wanted to get through the day, live their lives, eke out a living, do the next right thing, and yet he inspired them, he motivated them to go, to build, to dream. Because of him, we have a Jewish state today. Barry Weiss points out one person can change the course of history. In 1897, that was Theodor Herzl. Today, could be any one of us. Our challenge is to meet the intensity of this moment with hope and with faith. That even if we aren't the one, that someone here has the potential to dream as big of a dream and make as big of a change as Herzl did then, that will safeguard our Jewish future and the future of the world. Which brings me to some gorgeous Torah. Rav Soloveitchik teaches that every day we say two seemingly redundant blessings. First thing in our morning service. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanotein le'ayef koach. Blessed are you, sweet loving Lord, who gives strength to the weary. And Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Blessed are you, sweet loving Lord, who girds Israel with strength. He says these are not redundant, they're not repetitive, they're actually distinct for a very important reason. Koach, he says, Koach is the strength that enables us to get up in the morning, the physical strength in our bodies that we require to breathe, to work, to do all of the things we need to do in the world. But Gvura, that's different. Gvura is the emotional and psycho-spiritual fortitude that enables us to wake up in a world of antisemitism and live proudly as Jews. It's the strength that we need to know that no matter how others respond, no matter how many attacks there are, no matter how intense it is, no matter how many antifadas are normalized, no matter what, we are heroes simply because we choose every day to be Jewish, to be proudly who we are. So what do we know? I'm a rabbi. We're all rabbis. No, what we know is that all of us are here for a reason. Any one of us could change the trajectory of history, but all of us have been blessed by generations that have come before us, generations who have been through more and endured more than we ever will. Generations who pass down to us in our DNA the strength not only to get up in the morning, but the strength to live proudly with Gvura, the strength to be gibors, to be heroes for our people. I want to leave you with one last story. This year in our 6th grade, we're making taluses. And each kid got to pick their fabric, the ribbons, what they wanted on their atara, the verse that goes around the neck. And after October 7th, after all these anti-Semitic attacks, I had one student who came in and knew immediately what she wanted to put on her talus. She said, I want to put the blessing, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael. Blessed are you, sweet loving Lord, who made me a Jew. And I said to her, what inspired you to choose that blessing? She looked at me like I had asked the dumbest question in the universe. She said, because being a Jew is the best. Being a Jew is the best.